Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to start looking at where to get free 3D models online. Really important. There are a lot of places on the internet to find 3D models, and if you've done your own research, if you worked in 3D and you have your places, that's cool. I'm going to show you where I get mine. We're going to start with the free stuff, and then we're going to start moving on to some places where you pay for models, but I'm going to show you which ones are worth it and which ones maybe or may not be worth it for you. So the first thing we're going to start with, let's hop on the internet superhighway. I don't know why I called it that. We are at something called 3D Warehouse. So it is 3dwarehouse.sketchup.com. And SketchUp is a free and paid 3D modeling program. It's very good. It was actually developed by the military. I believe DARPA, something like along those lines. You can Wikipedia it. Literally designed for in the field rapid prototyping of things. So like in military pressures and situations, this is the fastest way that Google or whoever originally developed it thought to be able to model something. And it is very intuitive once you learn it. And I started learning scene design in SketchUp back in the day, and to this day, production designers still really rely on it, and you'll see why very soon. So if you get SketchUp, which is free, and there's a paid version too, you get access to, actually this is just free on the internet, this thing called 3D Warehouse, and it's literally that. In a way, 3D Warehouse, cinematography database, similar ideas in the end, except that 3D Warehouse is a collection, and collections, putting it lightly, of everything in the world, and it's user driven. So people model things and they put it in there, and there is everything on this website. Everything. Think of an object, it's in here. Think of a brand, it's in there. Think of a specific car, and then think of a specific year, think of a specific color with a specific mod on it. It's in here. Not kidding. Just go to check it out. Go check it out. The amazing thing about this right now is that everything on there for now, I don't know how this works, is free. And also with Cinema 4D R17, this is why you should be using R17 and not 16 or even 15. Just don't, if you're serious, get on 17. I should have probably said that earlier. R17 makes it so that you can import anything from this millions and millions of free models, pre-textured. R17, you can import them and they look gorgeous right off the bat. You don't have to do anything to them other than maybe scale their size to make it fit your scene. Not everything is real world scale like we work in. But the textures of the models for free, beautiful. You don't have to model furniture. A lot of rooms are pre-built. There's some 3D people, teapots, cars, furniture. Let's start looking at it right now. Enough talking. So we are going to, in this tutorial, we're going to download some of these models, and I'm going to show you how to bring them into Cinema 4D and how ridiculously beautiful they are. So I just searched car, and there's 57,000 cars. 57,000 cars in here. They're all free, and the majority of them work in Cinema 4D. So I'm going to pick my dream car. And I like BMWs. I don't know. I like, call me cliche. I like BMWs. So sue me. I shot a bunch of BMW commercials, and ever since, kind of like them. I like them a lot. So let's pick a pretty one. You pick the car that you like. Okay, everyone, go pick your dream car. The car that when you're dreaming it at night. That's the one you're driving. Go pick that car. Let's go find it. I like bigger cars, man. I don't know why. I kind of am feeling this car a lot. BMW X6. So we're gonna click it and get the most recent one. I think that it doesn't. I don't think Cinema 4D, I don't believe, likes the 2016 models. So if you download a model and it doesn't work, try to get these older versions. And there's a Collada file too. But get the 2015 one. So that's gonna download that. And now I want to show you something else as well. Okay, and I am going to be extremely open with you about the current ecosystem of 3D assets, because I am in the business of selling 3D assets in a way. So I want to show you all the other places and where you can get other assets like lights and film related things, although that's my business to build them and to sell them to you. I'm going to show you the other places to get them, but I'm going to try to show you where Cinedesigner lives in this ecosystem in the world of other places to get 3D stuff. So let's go. Now, I told you that 3D Warehouse has everything in it, and that includes movie lights and movie cameras and movie dollies and movie cranes, and they're all actually pretty good. It's where I got my start. I started off by downloading free lights and free models from 3D Warehouse, and that's how Cinedesign in general was born, because I didn't know how to 3D model back then. But I didn't need to, and neither do you really. Here's the first thing. Dado lights. made and distributed by Data Weigert. These are very beautiful and very accurate geometrically models of all the data lights. And for the R1 users that are right now, the data light is one of the #1 most requested lights that I add to the database. And I'm going to add which one is it? It's the DLH4 without the projector on it, this one. And I'm going to add the 300W one that I think has like the dimmer built into it. Yeah, this one. I'm going to add these, but I'm not going to use these models. I couldn't do that and distribute them to you. That would be illegal. I'm going to do my representation of it. I also can't, because I don't have permission and contracts yet with these manufacturers to allow me to use their brand and their IP. I can only at best use their likeness. That's it. I'm using their likeness. It's not exactly the same dimensions. That's kind of close, but it's not exactly the same. I don't use their logo, so I can't do that right now until I have permission to do it. But if you wanted to, you could download this model, and it's very accurate, and it's actually probably even more accurate than my model might be of it. But here's the main difference. In Cinema 4D, when you import this, and I really think that you should try it, when you grab it, there's no controls. So there's no slider to say pan and tilt. And you could do that manually if you wanted to, or you could program it if you know how to program in Cinema 4D. You could do that. The second thing is there's no light attached to it. So it's not going to emit light the right way that a data works. And on top of that, it's just not integrated with the Cine Designer system, which is its own ecosystem. And each asset is designed in a specific way so that it interacts with each other in a faithful to reality type situation that, if you bring it in, isn't going to mount to my baby stands. It's not going to mount to the goalpost. It won't mount to all the different things that I've created my lights from Cine Designer to be able to do. So while it is a very nice model, that's all it is. It won't move. It won't emit light correctly, and it will not also work with the ecosystem that I've created here. But if you'd like to have some of these models just for blocking, like if you just want to put lights in places but not have them do anything and not have them emit light, definitely go get these. For the R1 customers, I am going to be making those data lights that I was talking about, except mine will emit light like a dado, and they will also fit on stands and just fit to the Cine Designer standards that I've developed. So let's move on to our next thing here. Also KinoFlow. This is fun, right? Made and distributed by KinoFlow, the actual parent company. They have painstakingly made all of their lights. They have light stands, they have trusses, they have director's chairs, baby stands, like the stuff that I have, presumably. And some of these actually in SketchUp do what mine do. So my KinoFlow 4-bank, my KinoFlow 4-foot bank, my representation of it, you can actually switch from single bank to 2-bank to 4-bank, and it'll just do that for you. This will do something similar in SketchUp. And in SketchUp, there's no animation and there's no lighting. So it's kind of like, it has limited use. It's really just for like blocking. You can't do cinematography, in my opinion. There's a tool that kind of lets you do framing up, but it's clunky. And if it worked, I would use it. I would love to develop for a program that's free like SketchUp. But after 5 years of literally using every 3D program, Cinema 4D is the best place, I think, for cinematographers. It's a bit expensive to get into it at first, but it's worth the investment because you can do all the things that you would want to do in a 3D program. So here's another place to get 3D models of lights. Again, they're great geometry and they're very accurate and they're very pretty, and you can bring them around and put them in the right place, but they don't emit light and they don't move, and they don't integrate with the system that I've created. So there is that. You can go, I would say, because it's free, go download all of the KinoFlows. Just have them. I have them. Go download all the dados. Why not? They're free. Just go get them. Play with them. And the more you deal with these kind of raw, or what I call dumb models, the more I hope you'll appreciate the value that I've put into Cine Designer, because now they move the way that you would think in the real world, and they emit light the way that you would think in the real world. And that's something that basically no other company that I know of. Oh, no. There's one other company, and we'll talk about that company. There's no other companies out there for at least free assets, and very, 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 very few people for paid that do something even remotely similar. So that is, and I want to show you one more thing here. Who are you, Dan Lamberth? So these are user submitted. This was submitted by a person named Dan, and these are beautiful models of, say, this Alexa. I used this Alexa Optimo Airy FF4 Mapbox model for years before I learned how to 3D model my own stuff. This is the best model online for free. There's better ones for paid, and we'll do that in the next video. And you can use it too if you want. You just have to get it to scale. It's not textured. You can't look through it. It's not going to really operate with my system, but it's there and it's great. And I'm gonna add actually these exact same models, except they're gonna actually work better than there's a couple things in here that are not real, not accurate. And so that's the other thing I need to caution you about 3D models of film equipment, and we'll get to that in the next one more, is that they're hard to trust that they're to scale, and they're not. This looks like it was made by someone that's in the film industry. A lot of the times they're made by people from outside of the film industry, and when they don't know certain measurements, they just guess based on photos. And that gets a little bit dangerous in my point of view, because the way I've designed my camera system, although it's quite small now, it's going to be growing exponentially kind of soon, is that I respect the standards that exist for 19mm rods, 50mm lightweight, the focal flange distance, the actual dimensions of the camera, the actual interactions between a dovetail base plate, how a follow focus motor actually works and mounts. I'm going to have all that stuff in there. And I work in the film industry. I know it very closely. And when I don't know it, I can basically ask either the manufacturer or the vendor or a rental house or someone who's at that level. My stuff is made as close to reality as it needs to be. And a lot of stuff that's online is just kind of closely made to it, because a lot of it's meant to just be rendered and used in like a photo. My stuff's meant to represent real world. So I've taken a little bit more effort and research than a lot of the 3D models that are out there. So that is 3D Warehouse, and it is your #1 place you should go. That should be your first bookmark on your website or on your browser if you're looking for 3D models. 3D Warehouse, they have it. And if they don't have it, wait a month, someone might make it. So go check it out. Google whatever you want. Furniture, iPads, props, some people, some camera stuff that you might want to kind of like play with. It's not going to really work, but it's in there. Get it. And let's go into Cinema 4D and let's import that stuff. Okay, cool. So that was SketchUp Warehouse. I have a hard time not calling it Google Warehouse because that's what it used to be called. But Google actually sold SketchUp to Trimble, which is a kind of 3D kind of like architecture visualization company. So SketchUp's really good for that community. It's a really nice program. But really moving forward, if you're a cinematographer trying to use 3D, it's Cinema 4D, guys. Trust me, it's going to be Cinema 4D. There's Maya, there's other stuff, but I've done the research, years and years of research and trying. And I guess I'm just one person trying to do it, but Cinema 4D, in my opinion, is the way to go. And I had to switch from 5 years of Maya programming and development into Cinema, so it took a lot for me to do that. So I'm putting this file on the desktop. It's a BMW X6. I don't like plus signs and names. It's just bad practice. Don't do that. So I'm going to start Cinema, and then we're going to import this in 1 second. Okay, cool. So we are in Cinema 4D, and how do I get that model into this scene? We haven't done this yet. We go to File, Merge. You could do Open to, I think, but we're going to merge. Merge is like import. It's going to bring it into this document. So let's go to Desktop. There's my BMW X6. I hope this model works because I said that it did, but sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they don't work. I don't know why. Sometimes it doesn't, but a lot of the times it does. Let's check it out. Where's that car? Where are you at? I bet you it's really small or something. There it is. Okay, so this is extreme. Oh no, is it really big? I think it's really big. So what's going to happen is that these models either come in gigantic or tiny. That happens a lot. But look at this thing. Gorgeous model. Gorgeous model. If you had, I'm going to show you where you go to buy models like this. This is going to cost you hundreds of dollars, this model right here, or at least $100. These textures, they need a little bit of work, but I'm pretty sure out of the gate you can just do Apple R. Okay, so there are some texture issues, but you can essentially work with this. So let's drop. I'm going to do some stuff here that you guys have not seen yet. Ooh, you know what? Let's deal with scale. That's what's most important right now. So let's I'm gonna delete that. Don't worry about that. Let's go into Apple period. No, Apple comma is preferences. It's up here, preferences. Let's go to units. Let's make sure we're in feet. Okay, so let's do something. What you could do is you could go find the CAD for this or find the measurement, like, and find out how long is this car. Maybe I should do that. I don't really feel like doing it right now. What I like to do a lot of the times is just make a person that's make you 6 feet tall, 3 feet in the air, and then let's just eyeball. Yeah, so look how big. Okay, so here's our human scale. That's how off this is. That's how big a person is. That car's a little bit big. It's not quite right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into our side view here. It's Ant-Man compared to this car. What we're gonna do is we're gonna drag this on top of him, and we're just gonna start scaling down. So here's scale, and scale. We didn't go over it. It's probably negligent of me not to go over this. But what you're gonna do is with scale selected is you're gonna select nothing and go down. If you grab the handle, it'll only scale it. It'll squish it. But if you do it off over here, it'll do it to scale. And we're just going to keep bringing this down until it's the right size next to a human being. So let's hit H, 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 H. Still way too big, obviously. So we're going to keep scaling down. Keep scaling this thing down until it's just the right size next to it. Oh no! So that's what happens if you grab a handle. You just keep scaling this effing car down. Now, it might be like a multiplier, like 0.1 or 0.01. You can go for that if you want. I just do it manually this way, and you start to use your senses. If you're going to be a little bit more precise than I'm being, like I said, just go look up the dimensions of this car and make a cube that's the right dimension and just compare it until it's roughly that way. Unless you're doing a car commercial and you're building a set where it needs to be perfect, 9 times out of 10, you can be off by a little bit, and it really doesn't matter at all. We're visualizing. It's not like perfect CADs here. But if you want it to be, you can be as precise as you want. And for this demo, I just don't care. I'm not going to make it that precise. Okay, that's not how I wanted it. Hit S. There it is. Okay, so where's our person? Where did he go? Where are you? Where'd our person go? Why are you all the way over there? Oh, is the car like way off center? Oh, okay, so we're going to zero out the position of the car, hit S. There you are. Okay, great. So that's about as much work as you need to do in Cinema to get your SketchUp model to work, and most of it's just scaling it around. And trust me, if you try to bring in SketchUp models into Maya or 3ds Max, or I haven't tried Modo, maybe I don't know how Blender is either, you have to do a lot of work. You're gonna have to like retexture everything. You have to go in and clean up the geometry. In Cinema 4D, R17, the SketchUp integration is like, it's like really good. Look at this model. Look at this model. It's free. It's free. And I'm talking like this because like when I started, this stuff was not. You just didn't get this access to this kind of thing. So for DPs that want to play with car models and you want to start lighting cars, which we will light cars very soon, I'll show you how to light cars in a studio, make sure that the reflections are going to work, how to light cars in exteriors, how to pick the right sun direction for different car paints and stuff like that. We can do all of that stuff. I'm going to be adding a Porsche Cayenne Russian arm to this with a flight head on it. And we're going to do car to car. So if you're interested in playing with car to car stuff before you can afford car to car stuff, we're going to do it. It's going to be awesome. If you bought Cinema Designer, it's awesome. So there's our car. Beautiful, beautiful model. If you're like a little bit more advanced and you want to go through all these groups and kind of optimize this stuff because there's no need for all of these groups, you can just kind of merge it all together, clean it up. I would recommend renaming this, and what you can do is you should delete the figure now. I actually would recommend finding the information for how big this model should be and just make a cube and make the cube the dimensions that the specs say it should be. So say they say for like front to tail it's 14 feet, make the cube 14 feet and make the car the same size. And save that out just so that you know it's to scale. And then what I want you to do is to just file and save this C4D file. I'll save it to my desktop for now, desktop. So let's do BMW X6.c4d. Now, when you want to import this model, import that C4D file. And I'm not going to go over it now, but you can use this content browser to organize all of your C4D files so that you can just quickly be like, where's all my cars? You have a car folder, you bring them in. And your worth, as you build that database, that local database of SketchUp models, of models that you make, models you find, models you buy, which we'll cover very soon, you will be able to just rapid prototype scenes. Your directors will be like, oh, what if we brought in like a white car? And you'd be like, what white car? Which one would you like, sir? Like you can do a lot. So definitely go on Google Warehouse. I try to make it a thing once a week where I just go on and I download stuff and I format it and I just add it to the database, my own personal free database of 3D models of everything. We're in an amazing time. I hope that Warehouse never becomes free, but if it becomes paid, I would pay for it instantly. I kind of feel like it won't be, but just go on there and if you're brand new to this and you're like me, just go download hundreds of models. Now, they're going to come in named crazy. So you actually have to download one, rename it, organize it, or else you're going to have like 100 SketchUp files that say like untitled or something like that. So it's not that much. It's not that easy yet. Maybe I should make a plugin that lets you. Oh, I have a plugin idea, guys. It's not going to be free, but what if I gave you a plugin here, part of the Cine Designer family, that was a Google SketchUp browser? So like you open it and it does something like this, except it goes online to the Google SketchUp warehouse, and you can download it right from here. Oh, I'm gonna write that plugin, so we don't have to go online. And it would also be good if it auto formatted the scale for you. But I'd have to play with that. But that would be a time saver right there if you're doing this for a living. To be able to do that, not have to do this whole round trip and then have to organize it to do all that natively right here. That would be very good, wouldn't it? That would be fun. So that is our look at SketchUp Warehouse. Let's go back to just stay on the screen. SketchUp Warehouse, I forget if that's the name of it. I showed you the domain. Go live on that site for like hours and just download, organize, bring it into Cinema 4D, save as a Cinema 4D file, and just hoard all that 3D goodness, man. That is where you get free 3D models. That is the best place. There's other places. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. And that's what I was saying when I showed you the content browser stuff. It's quality and the characters are really good, but we're going to do characters after I do some more internet dance while we look at stuff on the internet for 3D models. But I was just saying about the content browser, it's like, yeah, those are nice stuff. I'll just go to Google SketchUp and it works great. And these models are pretty optimized. They're not that heavy as far as polygon count, which we'll talk about in the next episode. So that is Google Warehouse, or sorry, I was called SketchUp Warehouse. Like I said, go download everything. Go get the cars that you think you're going to be shooting. Go get plants, furniture. Go get all the furniture for the house, the bathrooms. That's where you get it. And it's as easy as I showed you in the other episode. Just download it, bring it into the scene. You're making 3D scenes, and then we're going to light them in Cine Designer like we're lighting in the real world. Simple. So simple, and it's so fun. I can't wait till I'm done teaching you guys this so I can go, I'm just kidding, so I can go back and just make fun demos. That's like how I promote Cine Designer. Like I just make cool stuff. I'm like, yo, let's light up a night exterior with space balloons. Let's make a cool music video setup that I could never afford to do on my own and pitch it to a director and be like, we should do this. And then he'll pitch it to the agency and they'll be like, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, cause you show them. It's awesome. It's so much fun. And what I just said to you, I've done before and it's worked out. And we'll talk about the business behind Cine Design. It's a new field for DPs. It's not a new field for previs artists. Previs artists actually make a ton of money doing this because it used to be very high end and hush hush only, but I've kind of cracked that egg and I kind of opened it up for more people. So the next episode, we're going to look at other places on the internet to get models that aren't free, but in certain cases, you're going to want to pay for them because it's worth it, especially as you start to develop a business around Cine Design, which you can. We're going to look at those. So I'll see you on the next episode.